Hey everyone, Chrissy here today. I'm going to show you how to make these cards. We're going to use some Thermoweb Deco Foil supplies along with some stamps and stencils from Newton's Nook. So you can see I showed the first two that I created off camera, and we're going to do the third one together. I'm going to use the purple tape. Yes, the purple tape, along with this sweet stencil from Newton's Nook. So the first thing I did was I protected my surface, and then I took a piece of watercolor cardstock and I adhered it to the back of the stencil using my purple tape. That's only because I wanted to make sure that I didn't have the purple tape covering anything when I added my transfer gel. So the easiest way to get full coverage is to flip everything over. So now I'm just going in with a palette knife and I'm just putting some of the transfer gel on there, just a light coat of it. You can go thicker, it'll just take a little bit longer to dry. I just kind of prefer the light coat. I use a palette knife, but you can use your finger or a piece of cardstock. Just make sure when you're done, you clean everything out. You can see that I am cleaning off the edge of that. And then also make sure that you clean off your stencil right away. I just go ahead and I spray mine with water real quick and I kind of like let it sit on a paper towel. I know some people can dunk it into like a little thing of water. Just make sure that you clean it off because it dries super sticky. So after it dries off, it's about an hour depending on how thick you laid it on there. You can go and you can start adding the foil with your laminator. So I just grabbed some of this foil. This is the Silver Star Deco Foil, and I thought it would be cute kind of because we have the little starry stencil, and I just showed you, you can see the Deco Foil that I used on the other card. And I just trimmed it approximately a little bit larger than that sheet. And I'm just going to go ahead and I just throw it in some parchment paper. That is the Deco Foil right there. And you can see there's my parchment paper. And I just place it on top. So you want the pretty side facing up. And I'm going to run it through my laminator. I did that off camera. I generally don't show my laminator on camera, sorry. I have it off to the side, so it's hard for me to kind of try to squeeze it in. So now I'm just going to go and I'm going to start stamping. So I had cut, you can see that I used that little Gina K die cut. It's a large rectangular die and it's got these cute stitches on it. And now I am just going to go and I'm going to start stamping using the Cosmic Newton set. I think this set's so much fun. I love science fiction. I love space. I'm into like all that stuff. So this set, as soon as I saw it, it like completely spoke to me. I knew that I just had to have it, especially with the matching that stencil that has the stars in it. They just went together. I'm just using some black ink and I'm going ahead and I'm just using a stamping tool just to make sure I get a clean stamp. I just wanted to make sure that I had a good image. I can see that I stamped the image and the sentiment, and similar to these two, I used the same dies and everything, same technique. And now you can see you just peel off the foil. You can set that aside later for another project. And then this is, I'm going to put that on the card. So now I'm going to start coloring. I'm using some of the they're alcohol graphic markers by Spectrum Noir. So I'm just going to show you, I'm going to edit some of it out, but for the most part, I go in with a lighter color, add the dark, and then add light and blend it together. So I'm going to throw on some music and you can watch me color for a little bit. I'll be back. Okay, I am just going to finish some of this up here. You can see I'm just going in and adding a little more of the color. And then once that was done, I decided to kind of soften up that background. I felt like it was just a little bit too white. So I just went in with an ink blending tool and added a little bit of purple ink around the edges. Another reason I did this is because it also felt like it made the stitches more prominent. They're a lot more obvious when they've got ink on them. So I really wanted those to kind of stand out. I think it's a perfect frame for a stamped image. So it's kind of like you get your own little frame when you use that die cut. You can see there, that's what it looks like colored with the purple in there. And now I'm going to add a little bit of color to the background. I'm using some watercolor markers. These are Aqua markers by Spectrum Noir. And I mentioned earlier that I was using watercolor paper, and this is why. I wanted to combine the foil with watercolor. The watercolors are so soft, and the foil is generally so vibrant. I think that the two of them offset each other so well. So I'm just adding some different purples in here using a water brush. You could use regular watercolor paints with a paintbrush. You don't have to use a water brush. And I had cut that paper, by the way, to 4 by 5 1/4. So that would be kind of like my panel on my card, and that small panel that we die cut is going to become the front panel. And also when I added the purple ink onto my stamped image, because I knew that I'd be using a little bit of purple on this as well. So just use a heat gun to kind of speed it up, kind of try to stop it from buckling because I was adding a good amount of water on there. So now basically everything is pretty much done. I'm going to go and assemble the card. I'm using some of the 3D foam squares, so I'm using the large ones. There are also 3D foam strips that you can use. Just cut them to size and they work perfectly. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm adding a lot of dimension on this card, but that's how I love it. And I haven't had a problem mailing them yet, even when they're really thick. So maybe I've just been lucky and I have a good mailman or something. So now you can see this is almost the completed card. I'm just going to finish it off by adding a couple crystal drops. You can see there. I thought that that went really well. They're kind of like little mini stars as well, even though they're dots. That's the finished card, and you can see the other two that I made using the exact same techniques, just different stamps and different colors. And here's another shot of all of them. So please don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you use any of our supplies, use hashtag ThermoWeb and hashtag Deco Foil so we can find you online. Have a great day. Thanks.